Hi CTO Demonettes, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to throw some concepts out to you about 3D wiring. As you know, we're developing the solution style wiring. Now imagine you have two assassins. They've each been given the same task, and that is to take out a target who will be giving a speech in a public square, and they are to take this target out from a high-rise building across from the public square. Assassin A goes and he holds his trusty handgun, and he points his handgun out of a window, covering one of his eyes and lining up the tip of his handgun to the target's forehead, and he pulls the trigger. Assassin B has the latest, fanciest rifle with a periscope and a laser spotter. The effect is he can turn on the laser and the laser will light up the target's forehead, and through the periscope he will be able to confirm the precise location of that laser dot before he takes the shot. What will happen to Assassin A and Assassin B? Well, the obvious answer is Assassin A will empty the whole of his cartridge and not hit the target and be captured by the FBI and is now sitting in jail. Assassin B, of course, will have taken the shot and got the target in the first shot and will have left and is now free from jail and free from the FBI. In the second scenario, it is the US Open golf tournament in Augusta. The two top golfers are vying for the envied green jacket, the prize. They're both in the end of the 18th hole, and both of them hit a birdie on to the green, and both golf balls are around 15 feet from the hole. Golfer A goes up, he stands behind his ball, takes one look, with covering his left eye, looking with his right eye, he lines up the ball against the hole and he putts. Golfer B does what you see in a lot of these professional tournaments. He looks from one side behind the ball towards the hole. He goes to the opposite side. He squats down and looks at the hole and the pole and lines that up against the ball. And then he walks around and he measures how long the distance is from the hole to the ball. He also looks at the ground to see if there's an elevation up and down and where the slope is slanting. In other words, he takes into account all three dimensions of the physical universe. The length to the target, the lateral, how sideways it is, which angle it is to get to the target, as well as the up and down, the horizontal, vertical axis. How far does the ground go up and down? He takes account of the slope. And with all this information, he puts together a putt and putts the ball towards the hole. Now, what is going to happen in this story? Well, we all know golfer A is going to miss, because there's a reason why all professional golfers spend 5 minutes walking around making all these measurements. Why do the professional golfer take three-dimensional information into their golfing putt? Because that works better than having just one dimension. In fact, golfer A does not win the championship. He does not get the green jacket. He does not get the prize money. He cannot even win his own championship in his local golf club. Golfer B wins the putt, gets it in one shot, wins the championship, has the green jacket, wins the prize. Are you noticing where I'm heading with this, Demonettes? Well, in the first instance, the assassin marks precisely the spot he wants to hit, and he checks with his eyes that he is lined up against the spot before he fires. In the second example, the golfer makes use of all three dimensions of alteration in the land, in the distance, and makes his shot based on 3D information and not 2D information. Now, with solution 3D wiring, it's easy to mark a spot exactly, straighten the tip so that it marks directly to the target, and it's easy to make use of all three-dimension information to hit the target rather than just 2D. So why is the CTO interventionist not taking up this method? Well, I know this is controversial now. I think that's because there is no competition in CTO intervention. You see, the assassin, if he misses his target, he risks being arrested by the FBI and going to jail. There is a price to pay when you fail. And the golfer in the US Open, he is competing against somebody else to become the best. If he fails, he loses the competition. But such competition and such a failure price to pay doesn't exist in CTO intervention. If we fail, we go, oh, we failed the CTO, it doesn't matter. And there's no competition. Well, in this generation, there's no competition. When I was younger and going around doing CTOs, there was a very competitive era. We used to go to live cases and you'll be put into a live case and next door will be a Japanese master also doing a live case, and people will be watching both live cases at the same time. And they'll find the hardest live case. It's not like the live cases today. Nowadays, the live case of CTO usually are quite easy, designed for teaching. Back in those days, there were live cases that, basically people failed and they found the most difficult case to trip you up. So that was very competitive, and maybe it's the sort of going through 10 years of competitive live case competitions that sort of made me try to perfect the art, try to get the most accurate aim, try to take into account all the 3D information in my CTO intervention. But there's no question, the assassin that makes the mark and escapes from the FBI is the one that uses a precise marker to the position. And the golfer that wins the green jacket and wins the US Open is the one that takes all the 3D information into his golf shot. So what about us, CTO interventionists? Can we learn from these two professions? I hope we can. I hope we can learn that 3D is important and having a precise mark to target is important. These things are important for success. And I hope you take this lesson and look through the two videos that we've done on solutions wiring as easy thing to learn and put it into your practice. And I wish that like the assassin and like the golfer, we have every success. See you next time.